I just got done working 2 jobs. Still coming up a couple $1,000s short from what I need to just barely feed myself and my dependent family. And so I decided I would start selling drop-in knowledge. Like what am I selling? I don't even know. It's not movement. I'm not selling you exercise movements, but here it is. I don't practice very much. It's just this is what makes it obvious. But so none of this is movement in my mind. This is I don't know, like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, if I was, like, let's say that I was obsessed with movement, this contemplation is like, okay, like, how do you get from point A to point B? And it's like, if you turn on the sensitivity that this contemplation does, you know exactly how to train to get your body-mind to move in a particular way that would allow for a particular activity. So I guess the contemplation that I'm trying to sell, we want to make a very, very, very strong claim that if you understand this contemplation, it's based on water. I feel like I could describe it very simply. To a degree that, like, I don't know, but it's relatively easy to understand, and if you do, all the skill progressions for every sport becomes like boom, very, 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 very obvious. Your movement, intelligence, and understanding should be like maxed out. Then all you have to do is the work, and most of the work you would be doing by feel. Based on the implications of the contemplation. So I guess I would be selling / teaching a contemplation that opens up that. And it works even better with like more than one person. I'll probably have 2-person demos soon. But, I mean, early adopters, if you want. Like, I mope around depressed and bipolar and just hyper stressed out. Like, I don't exercise, I don't worry about physicality at all. I mean, like I used to, but like the athleticism that I have just from like being realistic about how the body mind works, and contemplating how it works through the lens of water and science, right? Like contemplating the self using only the most verified information. So not just your sensory data, but also things that we've studied with science. And so that gets us to the theory of nerves, which people have proven time and time and time and time again. There's physical therapy modalities based off of nerves conducting sense data. So the theory, extremely well proven at this point, is that your vision, your sight, also your hearing, all your senses are activities of nerve cells, or driven by, are somehow the vision, the experience of sight seems downstream from sight being turned into neural impulses, as best we can tell. To where you can implant computer chips and get sensory experiences. So that leads us to say that since we are downstream of this, all this, we're looking at the nerve impulses. We're either the nerve impulses, or we're that which is seen by the nerve impulses. Like in some way, all of our sense data, all of it if you mess with the nerves of the body, the sense perception stops. Like you can numb it with Novocaine, or if you cut a nerve, you can pinch a nerve. Like all of this body stuff seems to be some phenomenon in the neural network of the body. So the brain and all the other nerves. And somehow that creates a picture, that creates a pattern. The nerve activity creates a pattern in the body somewhere. And that pattern is perceived somehow, we don't know how, but the pattern is somehow perceived as all this. It's perceived as the room, space, sound. You put all of that neural data together to create even a sense of body and a sense of room. And so the trippy thing is that all of the stuff that you're experiencing is fundamentally the same thing. It's some sort of nerve impulse, it's some sort of code, it's some sort of translation, it's some sort of interpretation of the activity of the sense organs and the activity to modulate the nervous system. All of that is this. Like all of the perception is that it's flesh. It's part of your flesh, basically. All of this is a vision or a hallucination that you have. You're looking into your mind right now. You're looking into your flesh, your brain. And then that's tied to what you're perceiving. Like it's all somehow one thing. It's all entangled together. But simultaneously, the viewer does seem to be downstream of the sense organs. And the sense organs, the only thing downstream of a sense organ is the nerves. So this is all nerve. Like what's actually here right now, what you're actually looking at, does not change very much from here to here. That's the perception just shifts, if that makes any sense. Like it the hand, you're not watching anything move. Like this is actually waves. The hands are waves in your neural network. All of your sense organs and stuff are basically waves that you're seeing being imprinted into the body. And so what I mean is, like, as you move a perception, anything that you see it's not like the physical reality isn't moving very much, just like as when a wave goes by. Like when a wave goes by in the ocean, the water doesn't go by. The water just kind of like moves around and stays right there. So the 3D, this sensory experience of the world, it's tied to reality. It's not that it's not real. It's not that it's not real. It's just that this experience of it that you have with the body or the body's sense organs is neural. It's a neural pattern. So underneath your perception, so like not underneath an object and not behind a sound and not behind a sight, but like behind the perception, behind all of it at once. Some people would, I think, call that a higher dimensional space, but like behind that is the nerve network, or is the body, is the flesh. Behind the whole world, if the veil of the curtain goes down, the whole of reality, all of perception is like is like water. It's like waves, shimmering waves on the surface of your body. And not only that, all of that is happening in water, right? So all of this perception is happening in your nerves, but all of that is also, it's not just virtual, it's not just only virtual, but it's also underwater. And then if you actually study this, contemplate it, talk about it a little bit, and even learn to move it, it is by far the most correct movement cue I can think of. Like, it's legit just a matter of discipline and effort. Otherwise, it seems like just the perfect workout comes out. Be it if I'm alone or with a person or a group. Like, it's different. It's different if you're in your underwear or not. Yeah, so it's especially different if your hands and the body are not any more or less of a perception than anything else that you're perceiving. It's all in the flesh. It's all anything that's perceiving, like behind it is the actual life. Behind the perception is the actual body, is the actual self. So that includes like when you're with other people, if you're with somebody, like no matter what you're perceiving, behind that is the body of God, is the flesh of God. This mystery of God being the substance and the life behind all things is what I believe that is what the Christian Eucharist is about. It's a secret knowledge that the God flesh is right there. And so realizing this, they actually eat the flesh of God and gain eternal life. So yeah, I guess it would just be like, oh hey, just wanted to share that I'm relatively convinced that God is behind all things. And by God, I mean like the body that hosts us. Like we are but like a dream in the body of this God, like a pattern in the nervous system. And so like behind any image or visage is like the waves are going over the ocean, right? And it's like what are the waves made of? And they're made of flesh. Sense perceptions are electrical impulses in flesh. So this is all living flesh. No, like feeling the life, like it's also that living fleshness of it. It's almost creepy. It's like the jungle. It's an aliveness and an unpredictability to behind all things. And it's like it can interact with our realm the same way that that I could interact with a dream or insert an idea or suggestion into your head so that your dreams were different. That would be me at this level of reality interacting through your sense organs to alter the experience of a dream character in you, which as far as we can tell is a neural pattern in your flesh. The same way that the sense of body, like all vision that's like this is a neural pattern in your body. So the vision or the sense of sight isn't anything to do with photons. It's a pattern in the nervous system that we perceive as vision, as we perceive as objects. Like we know scientifically that what we perceive as objects is patterns in the nervous system. You know, I keep repeating myself over and over and over again, but it's important to like let it sink in. So right there, like, you know, you could say right there behind all things, like if you were to eat anything, and the way that's useful in terms of movement is because water and patterns in the nervous system have they have qualities to them. So once you know that that's pretty much what you are, is like most of your inertia or your mass is water. The water might even be like that what you're aware of the nervous system patterns with. Fits a lot of metaphysical systems. Maybe it's literally true. I think it is. Even if it's not literally true, if you use water as an analogy to awareness, it allows you to very quickly understand principles of passivity, softness, yielding, yin and yang, allowing, and you look at how water tends to respond to objects and force, is how the mind also behaves. And so water also forms bodies. It envelops a nervous system. It becomes blood. Like the water turns into blood, which is like a fluid. And so then you can start to see that like the body is almost like pure awareness putting on flesh, like literally. And then not only is it doing that, it's in a self-contained bubble. So it's a separated body of water. And so it's like a bag of awareness. It's so infused in the flesh and tissue, you'd almost not even realize that it is water. It's free and passive and permissive, and the water moves exactly how it always does, even though it's like totally permeated with the tissue. It still has the same properties of inertia as like a bucket of water. So it's legit just useful and more sane. It might seem crazy, but it's actually way more efficient. It allows you to know exactly right where your limit is and why, and just creative flow expression to realize that this is a visual pattern. Like this is in the nerves. This isn't the water moving, right? What you see is not the mass moving, it's the perception moving. Very different. So then what's the perception moving? That's all the water, that's the sum movement, the totality of the entire system. That's all around. Everywhere, everything else. And you'll see you'll have a couple of different bodies, sort of different, like vision, like one pattern of self is maybe at the neural level, another pattern of self is at the the hormonal or the blood level, or what have you, and you can actually start to feel them stacked, and you can see that some aspects of you you can get detached and more superficial, which is freeing, and be kind of like up or down in a heavier